UK News. Remembrance Day is here, the day which to everyone in Britain means Armistice Day, Poppy Day or Veterans Day. The 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. Today we remember the men and women of our armed forces who have fallen since the Great War, the First World War in 1914. The poppies grew in Flanders on the fields where soldiers had been laid to rest and have been the symbol of Remembrance Day ever since. Poppies have been sold to the public since the early 1920s as a symbol of that remembrance. Today we also remember the brave men and women who have fought and died in the recent wars in the Middle East and elsewhere. The Home Affairs Committee has asked Home Secretary Theresa May to answer more than a dozen questions in relation to the relaxation of border controls, leaving Britain wide open to allow thousands of immigrants into the country unchecked for criminal records. Brodie Clark and the Border Agency's chief executive, Rob Whitman, are to give evidence next week about the most appalling foul-up that has taken place on the borders of Great Britain. Rob Whitman has stated that Brodie Clark had gone past the ministerial instructions by secretly relaxing the border controls this year. This awful faux pas aside, the last 13 years of Labour government saw the border controls almost continually relaxed, which has brought forth the highest level of immigration this country has ever known. FIFA have backed down on the banning of England footballers from wearing poppies at the friendly match on Saturday against Spain. In a distasteful move by FIFA, the poppy would have been banned by footballers not being able to show the world that they, as sportsmen, can also show some respect for their dead countrymen who have fallen in battle. The poppy ban outraged nationalists on all forums across the internet, forcing officials to react to the matter with FIFA. One spokesperson said, "The children of the fallen who go to football matches will never forget this disgusting move by FIFA to erase the memory and pride we show to the fallen in Britain." The anti-British terrorist supporting group, calling itself Muslims Against Crusades, have officially been banned. The group, which had members burning poppies and disrupting the 1-minute silence at the last Remembrance Sunday, have been outlawed. Although this banning is well justified, our weak government has just allowed them to slip through the loophole to return under a different name next year. This group of militant Islamists who live in our country and whose families sponge off our welfare system are run by Islamic militant Anjem Choudhury. One nationalist commented by saying the whole lot of them and their families need to be deported immediately. Also reported is that some of the members of the families of this anti-British group are claiming for wives who don't even and never have lived in Britain. Euronews. Greece has a new Prime Minister. He is Luka Papandreou and he is the former Vice President of the European Central Bank. He has said that he wanted to take over because of the continuing crisis in Greece. All three of the main parties in Greece have come together with the new Prime Minister to discuss the ever-failing problems in Greece's financial situation. Mr Papandreou will be heading the interim government until next year, when it is said that an election will take place around February 2012. The aim of the interim government is to obtain another financial bailout. This target is around €130 billion from the Eurozone partners like Britain, and also the International Monetary Fund, which is also funded by countries like Britain, who helped set it up in the first place. The Senate in Italy is to vote on austerity measures to help its country through its increasing debt problems. The austerity measures were forced on the Italian government to try and prevent what the Eurozone calls the Eurozone meltdown. A new Italian government is to be formed within the next few days. Prime Minister of Italy, Silvio Berlusconi, is expected to resign shortly after the austerity plans are put together. World News. An Afghan woman and her daughter have been stoned and shot dead by Islamic militants, it has been announced. The women, who had been accused of adultery, were murdered by the Taliban. Two of the Islamists had been captured not long after the murders had taken place near Ghazni city. Reports say that the two women, one who had lost her husband, were dragged out into the open and stoned, and then their captors shot them dead. The area in which this evil attack took place is soon to be taken over by Afghan security forces. It comes after Muslim leaders had been going around the town asking people if they knew of any adulterers. In this area of Afghanistan, it is reported that less than 10 of the 18 provinces are controlled by security forces. The rest are controlled by the Taliban. In fact, Taliban songs continue to be played on several radio stations. It has been reported that civilians living in the city of Homs in Syria have been subjected to torture and unlawful killings. Homs is a place where anti-government protesters have been carrying out protests against the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The President has said that the killings during the unrest, where 3,500 people have been killed, were caused by the militants. Human rights sources have said that those imprisoned by the Syrian government have been subjected to torture. It has also been reported that 17 dead bodies have shown signs of torture before death. The earthquake in Turkey has left 13 people dead. One of the dead was a volunteer aid worker from Japan who had travelled to Turkey to help with the aftermath of the last earthquake in the town of Van about 4 weeks ago. And finally, the Remembrance Sunday poem. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozar, and I wish you all a good weekend. And the message from the British National Party is that we all respect and honour our dead this coming Sunday. Goodbye.